Hello, everyone, and welcome to part 2 of my favorite albums of 2019. This is Thrash Till Death. My name is David. Uh, just wanted to say real quick, I know on the first part I was kind of flying through everything and not giving many details about each album, but the reason why is because if you've seen my previous videos, I've already talked about a lot of these albums before, so I just didn't really want to say the same shit all over again. So I'm just gonna keep it as brief and detailed as I can without making it too long, because I've got 50 of these to do, so it's a lot to go through. But yeah, if you guys are ready, let's go ahead and start with part 2 here. First up is Traveler. This is their self-titled debut full length. This is released on Gates of Hell Records. Gates of Hell is a fantastic small label that put out a ton of great heavy metal albums this year, and this is one of them. A very, very similar vibe to Judas Priest. Awesome, really good songwriting, good musicianship. Every song is catchy and memorable. The vocals are really soaring and high as you would want them to be for this style of metal. Drumming is also really, really cool. Great solos, great riffs. Yeah, everything you want from a great heavy metal album. That's what Traveler delivers here. So two of my favorites from this are probably Starbreaker and Speed Queen. Behind the Iron is also really cool. But yeah, just a ton of really cool, catchy sing-along choruses on all these songs. Just good stuff overall. Traveler, their self-titled debut. Next up, we go to Smolder with Times of Obscene Evil and Wild Daring. This was released on Cruz del Sur, another label that put out a ton of great traditional heavy metal albums this year. Yeah. So Smolder is very much known now as the band that Sarah Kiddingham, I hope I'm not butchering her name, from Beggar TV. This is her band. She is the vocalist, and this is epic doom, epic heavy metal. Really, really good stuff. Sarah's a fantastic singer. I love her vocals on here. Great guitar work, massive, massive riffs, great melodic melodies in the guitar work as well. Pummeling, thick drumming, as I prefer my drums to be in metal. Great bass work as well. Just overall, really, really good songs, good songwriting. Yeah. Really, really good stuff. Very cool cover too. Nice and old school looking with that high fantasy sort of theme going on. You can tell where their influences lie. Candlemas, Solitude, Pagan Altar. Sarah has very much voiced how much she loves Pagan Altar, and it definitely shows within this album. But if I had to pick my standout tracks from here, I would say the title track, which I unfortunately cannot pronounce, so I'm sorry about that. Shadowy Sisterhood, Black God's Kiss, the final track, which is a 9-minute, very lengthy track, epic sounding. Yeah, good stuff. Smolder, Times of Obscene Evil, and Wild Daring. Next up, Possessed, Revelations of Oblivion, released on Nuclear Blast. So, I'm sure many, like myself, was very skeptical and were thinking, what the hell is Possessed going to sound like after 30 plus years of not doing anything? And now we have the new Possessed album, and I'm very happy to say that I'm very, very pleased with how they did this. Obviously there's a lot of similarities and comparisons that will be made to Seven Churches. That's definitely here. But it still sounds like a great Possessed album. A very much updated production compared to their past releases. But I don't just hear Seven Churches on here. With the strong thrash vibe on here, I hear a lot of the Eyes of Horror on here as well. I don't know if anybody will agree with me on that, but I hear it for sure. Another thing that really stood out to me on here, Jeff Becerra's vocals. My God, he sounded like he just never even stopped doing this. He just really retained that possessed vocal style, and it sounds so good on here. Daniel Gonzalez, I feel, is another part of what just breathed a lot of new life into this band. Awesome songs. Biggest complaint with this album is it goes on a little too long with, 50 minutes. I feel like they should have cut it down to about 40, 45 minutes, but that's a very minor complaint. Strong material, awesome riffs, hellish, satanic, evil, death, thrash. Possessed. Great to have him back. Super, super pleased. Next up, we go to Spirit Adrift with Divided by Darkness. This is released on 20 Bucks Spin. This is their second full length. So, Chase and Nate have been very busy this year, putting out 2 albums. This and another one that we'll talk about later on this list. So, I know I'm already giving that away. But, Spirit Adrift, way less doom on this album. They go for more of a straightforward heavy metal sound on here, although the music is still a bit heavier than it was on the previous album, Curse of Conception. I love Nate's vocals on here, his guitar work. Chase's bass work is also really, really good. Great drumming, cool songwriting. Catchy, memorable songs. Really, really good stuff. So, Spirit Adrift, Divided by Darkness. I really love Hear Her, Tortured by Time, and the title track, Divided by Darkness. Yep. Next up, Bewitcher. Under the Witching Cross, their second full length, is released on Shadow Kingdom Records. Fucking awesome, just super fun, black speed metal. Way better than anything that Venom ever did. Obviously, a lot of Bathory influence. A lot of bands doing black speed now, and but this is definitely one of the best, in my opinion. But I also love Hellripper and Midnight, which these guys obviously, have a lot of comparisons and similarities to. But just super, every single chorus, every single song is just super sing-along, catchy, memorable. Fucking awesome riffs. This is such a fun listen. I listened to this so many times this year. And it's also not too long either. It only clocks in at about 30-something minutes. You can listen to it over and over again, no problem. Love this album. Some of my favorite tracks, the title track, Under the Witching Cross, Too Fast for the Flames, Hexenkrieg. I want to go see these guys live, man. I bet I've heard they're really, really good live, and I just feel like they would just be one of those bands where they're just super, super fun to see live. But, fucking awesome stuff. Bewitcher, Under the Witching Cross. And next up, we go to Mystik with their self-titled debut full length. This is released on I Hate. Awesome speed metal from Sweden. The vocalist, she sounds like kind of more like an evil sort of Doro. The music also has this occultish witch kind of vibe. Really, really cool riffs. Love the production on this. Awesome, thick, pummeling drums. Very, very good guitar solos. Just another standout for speed metal, heavy metal this year. Love this album. Mystik. Okay, now, I hate to do this, but for every other album on this list, I don't own any of these physically. But we're going to continue here. Next up is Fleshgod Apocalypse with Veleno. I've always enjoyed this band. I love their, symphonic death metal sound. I know there's a lot of people that can't stand Fleshgod, but I feel like with this album, while I enjoyed all their albums, they really kind of dialed the symphonic elements back a little bit, even though they are still heavily present because it's a big part of this band's sound, but they don't really, it's not really hitting you all at once and nothing sounds like it's drowning each other out like it did on previous albums. I feel like some people really don't realize this, but just the overall mix and sound for some symphonic metal is really, really hard to nail. it really is. But I feel like Fleshgod Apocalypse have definitely put out a really good album this year, full of great technical musicianship, very good songs, memorable. Even though they lost their singer guitarist, the remaining members did a fantastic job, I feel, without him. So Fleshgod Apocalypse, Veleno. Very good stuff. Released on Nuclear Blast, by the way. Next up, we have Nocturnus A.D. with Paradox. So this is basically the sequel to The Key. It's really got that similar sound and vibe overall. It's got the atmospheric keyboards along with the sci-fi themed death metal. It's all here. Mike Browning's vocals sound fantastic, similar to how Jeff Becerra retained his vocal style on this new Possessed album. Mike Browning really, really sounds just like he did on The Key. So if you enjoy The Key, this is a must listen for this year. And it's very cool to see Nocturnus continuing, even though it's under a different name, but it's still basically Nocturnus. So yeah, Nocturnus A.D. Paradox. And next up, we have Destrage with The Chosen One. This is an Italian progressive metalcore band that I discovered 1 or 2 years ago, and I really, really enjoy them. My best description of Destrage is, so take Sixth and Protest the Hero and throw in some Mr. Bungle and a bunch of other weird, silly, experimental shit, and that's basically what you get with Destrage. This band is not afraid to throw anything and everything at you as far as other musical influences go, but it still comes together in a great cohesive way and still manages, they still manage to bring us some really fun, catchy, fucking awesome progressive metalcore. So if you like any of the bands I've stated and that sounds like it's up your alley, definitely check out Destrage, The Chosen One. Really enjoyed this. And the last thing we're going to talk about here is Vultures Vengeance with the Knightlore. This is their debut full-length released on Gates of Hell Records, the same label as Traveler. And this is a band from Finland. I don't really know what bands to compare them to, but they're it's a traditional heavy metal band, so you know, obviously they like Priest, they like Maiden, you know, a lot of the standards, but just very good musicianship, awesome songwriting. The vocals are very, very standout. I feel like there's a lot of, not a lot of vocalists that sound like this guy. I don't really know who to compare him to, but he's awesome. Whoever he is, does a fantastic job on this. Great guitar work, love the solos and the riffs. Yeah, just if you're looking, just another one of those excellent traditional heavy metal albums that came out this year. So if that's your thing, definitely don't skip on Vultures Vengeance, the Knightlore. Very, very good stuff. All right, and that's going to do it for part 2. So I will see you guys in part 3. So, all right, take it easy.